Hello. What's up, Facebook? We are live. It is Motu Joe, and we have some fun stuff to share. We just got done watching Wayne. I know you're going to tune in here. You're still awake. You're going to chime in just a minute. Hopefully there's a few others of you out there that are going to join us here in just a moment. It turns out I have more than just a few little pieces to share. And it is, yes, the title says, and G.I. Joe. This weekend was a really, really cool weekend, which I'll elaborate a little bit more on, but I feel off. I have nothing Motu. There's nothing here that says Motu. So, we're going to dive into one of these packages really quick and fix that. There's a fair amount, and I'll just kind of, all of that stuff. And I know that was way too fast for anybody to see, but that's okay. I'm going to show it all here in just a moment. And make sure that I get whatever the hell that... Oh, that's the blister there. I can't help that. We'll see if we can get it there. There we go. All right. Package one. Simple, soft. I know what's in here. I haven't seen it yet. I can almost assure you, most of you out there that follow He-Man and are on Facebook, you've seen this. Wow. Oh, little bastards. There's a smudge on it. And yes, I'm doing the finger thing. I hope... Okay, good. It was just some of the powder from some screen printing. Ready for this? Here you go. Boom! Yeah, that's right. I can't see. Is it in focus? Yeah, it's in focus. How freaking badass is that? Kokomo! Yes! It was amazing. And that is... PJ, how are you, man? That's awesome. You chimed in. That's cool. That's very cool, man. Hopefully you get to see... I'm going to be showing some Kokomo. Eddie, Kokomo as well. So really quick, I'm going to disappear right over here because none of you guys want to see my flabby ass. So I'm going to quick change my shirt, get into Motu mode, make sure I flip this open so I can do a quick swap. One second. Almost there. Damn it. And boom! We're back. Look at that. Look at this. I'm going to do a close-up. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jaws, motherfucker. Sorry, I shouldn't have sworn. Anyway, that is freaking cool. I am super excited about that. And, all right. So, as you can see here, Eddie and PJ have already mentioned and alluded to the fact that I went to the meetup in the Midwest, which is a G.I. Joe. David, what's up, man? You're up next, David. You're one of the main things I'm going to actually be talking about. We went to the meetup in the Midwest with Justice Cury, who a lot of the Motu guys know, but he is also incredibly well known in the Joe world and G.I. Joe world. And the groups got together and had this huge get together in Kokomo, Indiana, of all places. But Kokomo Toys is there. So for those of us here stateside who are familiar with it, they are very, 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 very well known. They're kind of like a toy mecca, if you will. So, anyway, we all got together. We all went down there. I mean, we had people from Canada. We had people from Florida. We had people from Washington State. We had, it was from the East Coast, from New York, Virginia Beach. You name it. Nashville. The only place that I don't think we had anybody was from the Southwest. But, you know what? It was an amazing time. And we got some cool shit. I went to a G.I. Joe meetup, and I find this. Just looks like Hordak to the normal people, but I got excited because of that. It's a red rib Hordak. And no, there are no legs, but for what I got it for, what's up, Wayne? Thank you, bud. Glad you chimed in, man. Talking about the Kokomo weekend. Still spins, still has the punch action. I can replace the legs, but red rib is a variant, and kind of a harder one to find, and some people that are looking for variants want this guy. and I didn't have them. My Hordak is just a standard Hordak. So, Eddie, have a Motor, Rotar, and Twistoid to ship to Australia. What's the cheapest way? My experience in shipping to Australia is it's not as bad as sending to Europe in some cases, in actuality. I just shipped an entire box of G.I. Joe stuff because I had a bunch of G.I. Joe. I buy and sell G.I. Joe to flip it so that way I can pay for all of this that you see behind me. I sent a huge box, and it was about $89 to ship to Australia, and it wasn't, I mean, it was huge. A ton of stuff in there. I think it weighed 17 pounds. As an example, I shipped the box to Wayne here in this thread, and it was 18 pounds, and it was $150 to send to Europe, or to the UK. I would just use the USPS. I have found that they are, if you have a business account and you have like a DHL business account or a FedEx business account, and you're an actual established business of any size, sometimes UPS even, you can get a better deal that way. But for the layperson who's having to buy stuff, generalize and help out, USPS has been really, really good to work with for me. And just so happens my local ladies here are incredible too. So anyway, hope that helps you out, Eddie. All right. And also, that's a fairly small package. It's not a huge and overly expensive one to ship. So I can't imagine it costing too awful much. But Red Rib Hordak, first item. All right. I mentioned I'm going to be all over the place on this one. Even though I'm Motu Joe, a lot of things that I like. This doesn't look like a whole lot of anything in the bag. But this is classic. I like video games. I have a lot of video game systems. I have all the original ones, but I didn't have this bad boy. I did not have a TurboGrafx 16. I managed to get this amazing device. They're charging me $50. Holy shit, that's expensive, man. For the one item, you're shipping to Australia or from Australia? I'm sorry, Eddie, if I missed that. But TurboGrafx 16, yet another item. Got 2 games with it, 2 controllers. I just need to find, which is interesting. I never had this as a kid. I'm gonna have to look it up because I like to know this type of shit. There's no port for 2 controllers. So, and I looked at the controllers, and the controllers don't have one of those like splice things where you can plug 2 controllers into it, like some of those old school games used to have. So I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna work, but I don't really care. I've been wanting this for. I started buying video game systems in 98, 99 while I was in college, and I managed to acquire a lot of them. They were a lot cheaper back then. You don't want to know how expensive some of these stupid systems are getting now, for those of you that don't collect. But it's very, very cool. So, TurboGrafx 16. Pick that up from, if anyone's willing to take a guess, knowing who I hang out with in the circle I travel in, take a guess where that came from, and I bet you'll find it soon. All right, so that was 2 non-Motu. We're going to switch gears. We're going to get back to Motu here. PJ, if you are still watching, this is thanks to you. I had found right off the bat when we got to Kokomo some spare parts and pieces and different things, and PJ wanted to have a Skeletor. He's been wanting a Skeletor complete, loose, in a really good condition, and he comes walking by, and lo and behold, I actually have one. Retro gaming is big in the UK. I believe it. It's big everywhere. And I happen to have, I didn't even think about it at first. It was the variant, the front shin paint or front foot paint variant of Skeletor, soft head. So, Wave 1 or Wave 2 series release, I'm pretty sure that was the 8-back that had the front paint like that, but it was a little more on the back or a little black stuff, so I just said, hey, you know what? He's like, you serious? I'm like, just take it. Just take it. I don't care. I mean, it was great. And he was very, very happy. And then he said, you've got it, because it was a trade. The whole meetup this weekend was meant to be trades. Not a whole lot of cash was supposed to go between hands. But ultimately, this is what he gave me. For one Skeletor, and I found all the spare parts and pieces as soon as I got home to make it complete for him. So he has a variant Skeletor now, and this is what he gave me. which I was incredibly happy with, and we will find homes for these very, very soon. He gave me Chief Carnivorous, brand new, sealed box. As a matter of fact, I don't even know if his box tape was open yet or not. That bad boy. Thanks. You're very welcome, PJ. This is awesome. Count Marzo. For those that don't know Motu, this guy's a badass and highly underrated, and he actually is an integral role in some of the earlier stuff that we just don't think about. He had a good appearance in the 2000X cartoon run, which is fantastic. And then, of course, that wasn't it. One Skeletor, PJ. You're the man. One Skeletor, and he gave me those two figures. And Titus. Unreal, man. Unreal. I will continue to hook you up, whatever you need, PJ. I'll find those. I think that was the one that you needed. I got it. But if you need something else, just hit me up, man. I will. Motu seems to find its way into my hands more than anything else, obviously. And I will happily hook you up, man. Thank you very much. Oh, and I didn't realize that Joe Damiano had bought the John. Jesus, I keep flipping the wrong names around. Bought that masterpiece from you. That was awesome. That was a very, very cool Megatron. Okay, so let's do just a little more Motu from the Kokomo hookup. All right. So in the Kokomo, all these guys buy toys, and there's a few of us that are in the G.I. Joe group that are Motu collectors. John Damiano is one of them. PJ Prime, he's watching right now. He's one of them. But even let's see who. There was a few others. God, I'm drawing a blank right now. Mike, right? Michael was there. He was a big Motu guy, but I got parts and pieces. This is wicked. God, I can't remember your name though, man. You came over and you hooked me up with this for a good deal, very good price. I have armor now. In the last video, I had got a Battle Cat that didn't have the armor. I am actually going to reach out to Matt Wilford if you're watching. I know you just sent me a PM. Amazing customizer. I'm curious if you have ever done a Battle Cat that I think I'd like to send to you and see how you would make Battle Cat look the way he's supposed to, maybe with the black eyes or the red coming through, the yellow coming through there, or I don't know, man. But that's what I was thinking. I was thinking about having that done. Also, I'm not huge into customs, but Matt's work is freaking incredible. Hey, you are here, Matt. Awesome. Your work is the shit. And I don't do customs, so it's an arrogant sounding statement, I get, but I don't do customs. They have to be freaking stellar for me to even go like, oh yeah, I gotta have that, because I'm all licensed shit, right? So I was curious if you have ever done, and people make fun of them all the time, but have you ever done a Mechanic? I would love to see all the gear, not the gears, but the buttons or whatever it is that makes his head go up and down. This one's jacked so it doesn't twist, so maybe that's better for customizing, but I would love it if there was a way to do it, because it doesn't seem to rub his neck. I would love to see a customized version like this. Maybe it's something that I've got one primed and ready. Oh, he's on your list? It would be cool. I'd love to see how he would come out, and you know what? If you want, Matt, I'll just throw these in that box and send them your way. I know you need parts for customization, and I know it's not easy to get that stuff over there, sometimes at least. Point Dread base. I also gave PJ, this was sitting underneath there. I have had, I don't know how many of these broken, and sitting right there was a Wind Raider wing, unbroken, no cracks, no anything. It's perfect. So that Skeletor and a wing for Wind Raider. So I hooked PJ up with distraught, beat to shit, attack track. But again, I just took everything Motu. Got a Road Ripper here. I'll probably let my kids play with this because the seat belt is broken, but the belt is there, which that seems to be always missing. It is also chipped too, but again, it's a lot of spare parts. Another Skeletor, still spins. This is a Mexico variant. Hard head though. Got a Trap Jaw that was beat to shit. Just take it for parts. Thunder Punch can be cleaned up. He's not too awful rough, and he does still work. Although the back of his head, maybe he's better for customizing. He's got some paint wear there. This one here, Chris Middlecamp. I know he doesn't really watch these too awful much, but he is doing a custom Castle Grayskull for Justice, and it looks amazing. And I may just have him do the door. I don't have the statue yet. There's a resin door that I think it was the Four Horsemen put out. It's freaking expensive, and it doesn't come around too often. So maybe I can have him customize this door and make it all look pimpish again. And then there's just a shield for He-Man, which Joe Baylitz, I know he wants one. I already found Joe, which I know you're not going to watch this, but I got you your He-Man mint Skeletor, stands and super tight, shiny. You're going to be set, Baylitz. I know it's not your thing, but you asked, and I deliver. So spare parts and pieces, that's about it. But haven't started vintage. Let's see here. I'll scroll up and see if I missed what that says there. Matt, friend me, PM me. I have several extra Motu figures. Didn't get rid of at the meetup. Send me, dude. PJ's awesome to deal with, Matt. Send him a note. Yeah, he's cool. The meetup stuff. Okay, so all right, so that was He-Man. I'm going to switch gears one more time because there are three other items that are not Motu, and I'm going to bang those out right now. And one of these is very, very cool. Is unique in the sense that I don't know many people that have it, but it's Star Wars. All right? Just looks, the light doesn't quite come through, but you get an idea. Anyone have a guess? That might be, it's film. Star Wars film. But it's nothing super special, okay? But it is very, very cool because not many people have these things. This is the trailer for Star Wars Trilogy, which you can kind of make out. I'm dyslexic, so I actually can read that. Star Wars Trilogy. And it says B. So it's the second version of it. And I will slow it around because it's the special edition of Star Wars Trilogy. Digital. Runtime 2 minutes and 27 seconds. Got this at the Kokomo meetup, with the Midwest meetup. Just sitting there. He used to work at a theater, so this is just random. There were, if you think about it, almost every theater had to have these. Almost every theater. So how many thousands of these were out there? And if I'm not mistaken, most of these, the previews like this, the reels, last I knew, all those reels have to be sent back to the studio. And I don't know about previews. Maybe someone can answer that for me, because I don't know. But this is wicked. I can't believe G.I. Joe meetup and I find the Star Wars on film. It's crazy. All right. So another thing. We were at Kokomo Toys. We were getting some lunch, grabbing some stuff. And Kokomo Toys is a fantastic store. They are fair. Their prices are fair. They couple of really hard to find items, you know. They're asking fair, the top end of the price points. For example, Eternia. Good box, but perfect condition Eternia, 100% complete, was $2,000. They will sell for $2,000 to the right buyer, typically overseas. But here, you know, most of the time we can find those for $1,000 to $1,500, and in some cases you can find them for $750, but normally without the box. But at any rate, we went just down the street after having lunch. It was a really good time at Kokomo Toys. A lot of people bought a lot of stuff, and I went down the street. Right down 2 doors down is a comic book shop, and I collect Hulk to a certain degree. I love the Hulk, but really I'm a Juggernaut fan. I love Juggernaut. I have a bunch of statues over there, a bunch of other things. I have a small box, or actually it's almost a long box now, full of Juggernaut appearances. I didn't have this bad boy. How freaking cool is that? I don't ever remember Hulk and the Juggernaut teaming up together to fight against. It looks like they're fighting against our guys, the army, but side by side with the deadly, invincible Juggernaut. That is freaking cool, man. That is very cool, and I did not have it. It's brick and mortar. They have overhead to pay. I thought they were fair considering those things. I agree with you, PJ. I wholeheartedly agree with you. Their prices are extremely fair. They're brick and mortar, and it's right there. You walk in and you get what you want. I'll give another perfect example. We're gonna have some trust amongst the community here, okay, guys? I am actually going back to Kokomo next weekend for the Indianapolis 500, which is Indy, but we stay in Kokomo. They have Baby Skeletor, brand new, in box. And Baby Skeletor goes for $125 to $200 on eBay. And their price is spot on. I will more than likely, if I can flip a few things before next weekend, I'm probably going to be buying that there because it just makes sense. I can walk in, I can buy it, I don't have to wait for shipping, I can take it back, and I don't have to hunt for it because Baby Skeletor is hard to find and people don't want to sell them. And if they do, they want $200 plus. Well, I'll support them. They've hooked our friends and our community up and their price point's right for me. So it'll work. Kokomo Toys is very cool. All right, so David, I'm sure you've probably already left. This is beyond. Oh shit! Sorry, I gotta actually take something out of this. This is beyond. It was a lot of us do this for the memories and the feel good feelings and the things that we had experiences as kids and that nostalgia crack, if you will. It's addicting, and we want to seek that. And oh, you're still there, man? Awesome, David. This is all about you right now. I went in and I don't do G.I. Joe. There's a few pieces that I had as a kid that I really, really, really wanted and to have back in my collection. And I'm worried about getting my mock MOC mint on card He-Man stuff. I'm not going down the G.I. Joe road, but there's one that I wanted, and it has huge significance to me. It was the last toy that I bought as a kid. One of the last things I bought in Arizona before I moved to Michigan, which is where I'm at now. And it's funny, too, because not a lot of kids liked that figure because it was so plain. My dad and my uncle were Merchant Marines, which is a division of the military, more or less the supply lines and the Marine folk. So while he wasn't a Marine, it just made me think of it. So I managed to get. Thank you, David. Thank you for a fair price on this and the emotional joy that you brought. I now have the last toy I bought as a kid in Arizona before I moved to Michigan. Mint on sealed cars. No, it's not Chuckles. Gung Ho in his Marine full garb. I love it. He is dressed to the hilt. This thing, oh, sorry, the glare was on it. It's got a little bit of the yellow effects, a little bit of sun fade. But this is the last toy that I ever had as a kid. And it's brand new. It is brand new in package. Thank you again, man. Thank you, David. This is, it means a lot. And, I know he knew it. He saw me while I was looking at this thing. I'm still looking at it. I should be looking at the camera. I should be talking to you folks. But it's so cool. No shit. No shit. I never noticed that, David. So the guy that we were sharing the room with, right next door to you, the bigger guy, he was talking about variants and weird little things. I just saw this now, right? The rivets on their elbows are supposed to be smooth side, right? They're supposed to have that smooth version on the elbow and then the dimple on the back. They're backwards. And he was going all nuts about finding a particular figure with the rivets backwards. PJ, you got one of these too? Henry is his name. So it's really hard. I can take it out of the package. It's fine. This is Okay, so I don't know. You guys can tell me if this is something rare or not, or how often that really happened, but let's see if I can get a good showing in there. It's this damn card camera angle. You can kind of see it. That you can actually see his right arm. You can see that one much better. There's a rivet in there, and it's the dimple side up. So apparently that is a variant, and the diehards want to find a variance. So again, David, thank you, man. Thank you. I'm rambling on now. I don't even know how long I'm up to now. Probably 30 minutes almost. But this is very, very cool. I don't see me getting rid of this anytime ever. Anytime soon. Ever's forever. You know, it's. But this is. Thank you again, man. Meetup at the Midwest was crazy. This was freaking awesome. This is freaking badass. Unbelievable, man. Thank you. Justice will be. He's got one that probably is unpunched, came from the factory, is signed by freaking Hama or something like that. I'm so glad to have it. I am happy with it. You know, I wasn't looking for the pristine guy, and I was looking for the happy price point, and you met it, man. You met it big time. So thank you. Okay, so again, we're at the meetup, right? It's all G.I. Joe stuff. And what happened? So the guy who I did a deal with for the Battle Cat saddle and helmet, he had some comics. He said, hey, you might be interested in these. The price was okay, but I was like, I already have them, and I use the mini comics to say thank you to the people that buy stuff from me, and I do deals with. I just kind of throw in an extra tchotchke, so I didn't want to spend a lot of money on getting those type of things. So we're done, we're leaving, everyone's breaking up, and the guy goes, hey Motu. I'm like, what? I look over, and he's like, here. And he hands me these. That's 10 of these. He just handed them to me. He's like, here you go, man. That type of stuff is amazing. And it's not a huge chunk of change, but it's the act of kindness that was so, it's overwhelming, man. It's really cool, and I know that's what we all want in the Motu community, and it's getting more and more like that. We're getting there. So I've got the Vengeance of Skeletor, and it's the illustration book with purchase, so it's not the new blast on the corner. Printed, what was that one printed though? That one was printed in Taiwan. This one here we've got is the Menace of Trapjaw. That was printed in the US, so some of the US printed ones, I know people like those. Triclops printed in US. And all these are in really good shape. I think one's a little dinged up. Battle in the Clouds. This one was printed in USA as well. And these are from the original waves. They're the thick books. Most of those are the thick books. Now we start getting into some more of the thin one. Well, here's another thick one here. The Ordeal of Many Faces. That was printed in Taiwan. We got the Temple of Darkness. That was printed in Taiwan. Secret Liquid Life. That's so bizarre. Like, that one took me a while to find, and I don't know why. Hong Kong, now I can find them all over the place. A Dragon's Gift. That one's printed in the US. The Stench of Evil. And I still stand by this. The 2000X version of Stinkor's Origin is a pretty good episode. It's kind of comical, too. He-Man and the Insect People. This one's printed in Malaysia. This one's the only one out of that group. But 10 mini comics, man. I cannot remember his name. But again, thank you. Thank you. Then it was... Oh, man. I just friended you today. Shoot. You're from Alabama. Mississippi? From Mississippi. That's right. I can't think of your name. You just gave me this. Just gave it to me. Here you go, Joe. Got a little dirt on it. I'll wipe it off. And now I got a Manny Faces gun. Amazing. Cool. Nice little couple dollar piece there. And then Scott. Well, how many mini comics were there in their vintage run, Joe? It's a good question. I can answer it in kind of. enough to fill this. Up to here. So that much of this book are the mini comics printed, and it wasn't every figure. Not every figure had its unique comic. I know that much. But if there were 72 figures or 73 figures, the Giants didn't come with comics. But the Laser Lights did, and the Laser Lights comics weren't actually comics. They're more of a catalog. And then the play sets didn't come with them that often, except Eternia did. So I'm ballparking it, PJ. I think, and I can definitely double check. I think the total is something like 65 mini comics, and I may be completely off with that, but I can check. That's a good question. I should know that. Okay, so then we're there, and I believe I friended him on Facebook. I believe his name was Scott. I think it's Scott, and he's actually not too far from us. He actually lives in Kokomo. He's probably going to be moving to Michigan here because of the job that he has. Shit, I'm horrible with names, man. Damn. All right, so this is another Motu piece. At a G.I. Joe show, I find battle strips. I know it's backwards, but it doesn't matter. The top of the box has never been opened, but the way the box is designed, the bottom can open up. You have about 25 that want to track down the rest. Thanks for that. Hey, if any of those you need, PJ, just let me know. I'm sending you those weapons. You can have that. It was given to me, so I'll give it to you. If any of those that I just flashed you need, just send me a note, or you can get me listed here. So these battle strips are something else. It says 15 sterile adhesive bandages. I haven't opened it up to count, but I did open it up to see what was inside, and we can get a little peek-see here. Unfortunately, the adhesive part of the Band-Aids, the part that, sorry, I'm trying not to damage it any further, the part of the Band-Aid that we would peel apart or separate. Here, we'll take one out so you can see it. So, the Band-Aid here, but you can see it's starting to, this portion of it, the sterile packaging on almost all of them is starting to separate. And you can see at least what one of them looks like. Still nice and sterile. I don't plan on using them, but I will plan on leaving this one out when I go to put it on display. And again, if it's Motu related, I want to get that damn thing in my collection. And Justice has actually sent me a picture of these a few months back, or a couple months back, and then that seller actually wound up being at the Motu at the show, so I was able to pick these up. And you know, I'm merch boy, so Band-Aid strips. And okay, I'm moving